Hey everyone, it's Pastor Dave from St. John in Woodbury, Minnesota. Thanks for checking out today's 5 Minutes of Hope. It is Tuesday, May 5th. Hopefully you had a good Star Wars day yesterday, May the 4th. And hopefully today's going well for you as well, at least as well as is possible during these strange times. We are now almost a week into the month of May. And so, again, even though things are kind of strange right now, I pray that life is going smoothly for you, and that above all, as always, that you are filled with peace, with joy, and with hope. That hope that we have because of what Jesus has done for us. And so, today in our 5 minutes of hope, I'm going to share a joke that's about a pastor having dinner at someone's house, and also going to look at some devotional thoughts from one of my favorite parables in the Bible from the Gospel of Luke. So, our joke for today, which hopefully you find somewhat amusing, is about a pastor who went to a family's house for dinner. And right before they ate the food, naturally the pastor offered if he could say a prayer for the meal. But before he could say anything else, one of the children piped up and said, Pastor, we really don't need to do that. Mom's actually a good cook. Again, funny, maybe not funny. At least, hopefully, you found some entertainment in that joke of the day. So, a couple of devotional thoughts, again, from one of my favorite parables in the Bible. And this is from the Gospel of Luke. This is the parable of the Pharisee and the tax collector. And so, I want to go ahead and just read this to you. Again, this is Luke chapter 18, verses 9 through 14. It says, "To some who were confident of their own righteousness and looked down on everyone else, Jesus told this parable. Two men went up to the temple to pray, one a Pharisee and the other a tax collector. The Pharisee stood by himself and prayed, 'God, I thank you that I am not like the other people, robbers, evildoers, adulterers, or even like this tax collector. I fast twice a week and give a tenth of all I get.' But the tax collector stood at a distance. He could not even look up to heaven, but beat his breast and said, 'God, have mercy on me, a sinner.' I tell you that this man, rather than the other, went home justified before God. For all those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted." It's interesting when we look at this parable. Again, Jesus told to these Pharisees who are confident in themselves. We see this attitude that is, I think, a part of the fallen human nature that we see in all of us. People want others to know how great they are. I think that's one of the reasons. I'm not saying it's the only reason, but one of the reasons places like Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, TikTok now, that these are so popular, that people want other people to see how great, how amazing they are. They want other people to know how smart they are. They want people to know their accomplishments. They want to see other people to see how great of a life that they have, or at least the life that they're portraying is. And so again, we see on these platforms and others certainly, again, this human desire to make sure other people know how great, how wonderful, how accomplished we are. And unfortunately, this attitude is often also seen within the church. Again, we see this example with the Pharisees. The Pharisees, they went around wanting to make sure that everyone knew how holy, how righteous, how wise they were. They really lived for other people's affections. And so again, Jesus tells this parable against them to basically say, you're looking for the wrong thing. Because in this parable, the Pharisee goes before God and he makes sure everybody can hear him, and says, Lord, thank you that I'm awesome. I give my money, I tithe, I go to church all the time. I do good works, I help people out, I don't sin. I'm nothing like this guy over here. And that right there is where you kind of see the heart of the problem. Is he's trying to say, I'm not as bad as that guy, and so you should think I'm wonderful. But Jesus says this other guy, this tax collector, who was considered a horrible sinner in Jesus' time, some people might say even today, but he understood that he was a sinner. He understood his only hope before God was God's mercy. And so you have this Pharisee that says, hey, look how awesome I am. I really don't need you, God. I just need you to say that I'm awesome. And this tax collector says, I'm terrible. God, my only hope, my only chance is if you show your grace and your mercy upon me. And of course, Jesus says this tax collector was the one who was justified, not the person who was trying to show how awesome they were. And so I guess today my encouragement to you is to take joy. Rejoice in the fact that you and I and all people, we are sinners. We've done horrible things. We've thought horrible things. But we take joy in the fact that we are forgiven. It's not about us trying to prove to God or prove to others, to prove to the world how awesome we are. It's about rejoicing the fact that we're not that great. But because of Jesus, we are made great. We are made forgiven because we are made God's wonderful and beloved people. So today, rejoice in your identity. You are a forgiven child of God. Don't worry about spending time, even during this quarantine, trying to impress others. Just rejoice in your shortcomings because you know Jesus has overcome all of those. And because of that, we are indeed redeemed. We are indeed justified, just as Jesus said. So have a great day living in that justification, in that righteousness, in that forgiveness.